Good morning, guys. Welcome to today's lesson from Beaver on the Go. This week in science, we're going to be talking about plants and their parts. We are going to talk about the external parts of a plant. Plants have an internal part too. I'm going to save those for your teachers in later grades. I can't teach you all the things. So we are going to talk about the parts that you see here in my flower. And I'm going to give you guys some references to think of when you're thinking about what each of these parts do, and some of the fruits and vegetables that we eat that are these different parts. So we're going to start down here with these guys. These guys are your roots. Your roots are the part that are under the ground. When you pull up that weed and you see those little, they almost look like jellyfish tendrils hanging off the bottom of the plant, those are your roots. Your roots are an essential part of the plant. As you can see, they are the part that is under the ground. So they are down here where all the nutrients are and where all the water goes when it rains. The roots have two important jobs. The first of which is to absorb nutrients and water from the soil. So because of that, I like to think of roots as a sponge. When you put a sponge in water, it absorbs, it sucks up all that water. That's what the roots do. They, like a sponge, get all those tasty nutrients and all that water around them, and they go and they suck it all up. So I'm gonna leave that there. The other thing that the roots do that is essential to the plant is they hold the plant into the ground. So I like to think of the roots as an anchor. Anchors are what ships put down so that they don't float away. Just like the anchor on a ship, the roots anchor that plant into the ground so that they can't be knocked down, a wind can't blow them over, they're supported and they're stable. So your roots absorb water and nutrients like a sponge, and like an anchor, they hold that plant into place. We don't want the plant to fly away or get knocked down. I almost forgot. Some roots that you eat. Potatoes. Potatoes are actually the root of the plant. They grow underground. And carrots. Carrots are also the root of their plant. So those are two plant roots that we eat. Moving up our plant, we're going to move up here to the stem. So here's our stem. Got my little arrow for roots. There we go. So the stem also has two very important jobs. The first of which is to be strong and supportive to help the plant stand up. We don't want droopy plants. We want strong plants. So its first job is to be supportive of the plant. Its second job is, once the roots have sucked up all those nutrients, they've got to have a way to get to the flowers, to the leaves, and the rest of the parts of the plant. So the stem takes all the nutrients from the spongy roots and sucks them up to the rest of the parts of the plant. So, you have to forgive me, my straw is a little long. I like to think of the stem as a straw. Straws, well, this guy's metal, so he's really strong. You can't bend at all. But if you take a straw, think of the straw that comes in your milk. I mean, if you stand it up, it doesn't bend, it doesn't fall over. It's supportive. So that straw is holding up the leaves and the flowers of the plant. Additionally, when that stem gets to our roots, right there, see where they connect? Just like when you put a straw in your drink, The stem sucks up all those nutrients that the roots have collected and sends them to the rest of the parts of the plant. So, this is the roots have all your nutrients. They're holding them in. They've sucked them all in and they're holding them. The stem connects to your roots, supporting your plant so it stands up straight, and it sucks up all those nutrients from the roots and sends them to the rest of the parts of your plants. So a straw is a great way to think of your stem. What are some stems we eat? Celery is one. Sugar is derived from sugar cane, which is the stem of the plant. And one you guys may not like, but I particularly do, is asparagus, also the stem of the plant. All right, moving on, we're gonna look at these guys. We're gonna look at our leaves. A very, very critical part of our plant. I like to think of the leaves as a bakery. Leaves are where the food for the plant gets made. So, see these sun rays here? You know, you can't see them, they're invisible, but they're there. They don't travel to the flowers, they travel down to these guys. These guys love the sun. They take in those rays of the sun. So the sun rays and the energy from the sun is collected by the leaves. Nobody else. That's their job. The leaves collect that sunlight in order to make food, which is why I like to think of them as a bakery. They take in the sun, they take in the nutrients that have been brought up by the stem, and together they combine that to make the food that the plant needs. Happens to be called photosynthesis. We'll talk about that at another time. So the leaves are a bakery. They're combining the ingredients from the sun, and they're taking the nutrients that the roots have collected and that the stem has sucked up, and they take those and they turn them into food. There you go. What are some leaves we eat? The obvious one, Cadbury's favorite, we have our lettuce. Another one would be mint. All of those mint flavored things that you can eat. The mint is the leaf of the plant. In fact, last year in the greenhouse, we grew mint and the kiddos got to taste it. Doesn't taste as good just in leaf form. Tastes much better when you mix it into other foods. So there we go. All right, moving up. Now, not everybody is a flower, but I used a flower for reference. What do our flowers and our fruits do? So let me label this guy. Here's our flower. It could also be the fruit of the plant, also does the same thing. So, what's a good reference for the flower? The flower is the mama. Why are the flowers and the fruits the mama? Because that's where the seeds for new baby plants are made. So, it does that by taking the energy and the food created from the leaves, and it uses that to have the energy to produce new seeds. You guys have all seen an apple. You've cut it open. You've seen the seeds inside. You guys know if you take those seeds and you plant them, they can turn into new plants. So the flower, see if I have a flower here that we can see. Let get a little flower. So I happen to have a flower right here. So there's our stem. This guy has the roots cut out because I bought them from the store. But so you can't see them right here, unlike a fruit. You ready? I'm gonna pull this guy open and purpose. Come here, little flower. If you open this guy up, remember I said plants have internal and external parts? Now we're getting into the internal parts. If you open it up in here, down into here, these guys are your pistils and your stamens. I wish I had a lily, you could really see them. Down in here, I'm gonna pull him very, very gently. I don't wanna rip him. Well, not where you can't see. So, the roots have sucked up the nutrients, the stem have taken it. This guy's leaves have been cut off because he's not growing outside. He's to be pretty in a vase. It comes up to the flowers down here, in the flowers. You can see right here, these are called your pistils and your stamen. Down here, in this little bulby part, let's see if I can cut it open without destroying it. You can see this one's not a good one. In here is where they're making, it's hard to see, the new seeds. Let's see if I can zoom in where you guys can see those tiny little dots, the new seeds, so that a new carnation can be made. That happens on the internal parts of the plant, which you guys will get into in later grades. So it's connected to the flowers. It's just way buried deep down inside so that they're nice and safe. So I like to think of the flowers and the fruit as the mamas, because they're the ones that help make the new seeds to make new baby plants. So we have our roots, our sponge sucking up the nutrients and the water from the ground. Also our anchor holding that plant into the ground. Our roots are connected to our stem, our straw, because it helps hold up our plant. I mean, you can see this guy. It's also, if you look at it, it's hard to see, but it is like a little tube. Oops, keep bumping my camera today. So the stem, nice and strong. This guy can stand up. He's not gonna be droopy and fall over. So the supportive straw holds him up straight. Also sucks up those nutrients from the roots and carries them to the leaves and the flowers and the fruits. The leaves are bakery. They're taking their ingredients, their sunlight, and all those nutrients from the ground, and they're using that to bake the food of the plant so that the plant can survive. Just like us, plants need food to survive. Their food just looks a little different than ours. And lastly, you have your flowers and your fruits. Your flowers and your fruits are the mamas of the plant because they are where new seeds are produced to continue the life cycle of the flower or the fruit or the plant in general. So there you have it, a little bit about plants and their parts. If you have any questions, come visit me during my online office hours. I love to talk about plants. You guys know I love my plants. So that's it for today from Beaver on the Go. I will talk to you guys later.